Hey everyone, it's Taryn Papa, and you're listening to Hank Jr. at Hank's Corner.
Hello, everybody, and welcome to another episode of Hank's Corner. I'm Hank Jr., part of Hank Jr. Productions, where I'm documenting life's moments through photography, videography, and now podcasting. And this is my 95th episode. We are getting so close to that 100th episode that's going to be very special, but the 95th is going to be very special as well. You're going to want to hear that who I have on today's episode. You may have seen her on The Voice season 19. You may have recently seen her on my New Music Friday post with her new song that's come out, No One's Gonna Love You Like I Do. Please welcome Taryn Papa. Taryn, how are you doing tonight?
I'm great. Thank you so much for having me.
Well, it's definitely an honor and a pleasure to have you. I'm so glad to be able to get you on my show. I mean, you are a nationwide star, and here you are on Hank's Corner, my little corner over here.
I love your corner. You have a lot of cool images behind you, and I'm excited to be here.
Yeah, and who knows? Maybe one day I'll get out there and actually snap a picture of you and get you up on the wall too.
I would love it.
Now, I am broadcasting from Tampa, Florida. A lot of people know that that's where I'm at, but I'm always curious to find out, where are the artists, because you guys travel a lot. I saw, and when we're recording this, I don't know if you made it back to my home state of Texas yet. Are you in Houston, or are you going to be headed that way?
I'm going to be in Houston tomorrow. I was just in Orlando. I got back Sunday, so it's a fair assumption that I'm not really usually home, but tonight I'm home in Nashville, so it's good to be here, and I have to pack after this. So
well, we definitely won't keep you too long, because we don't want you to miss up on that packing, because ladies, they love their stuff, so I want to make sure
bring
that
my cowboy boots, and I got to get ready for Texas.
That's right. And like I said, that is my home state. Have you been there before? And tell me what you like about Texas.
Sure. I've been to a lot of parts of Texas. I've been to Austin, San Antonio, Waco, Houston. Probably the place that I've spent the least amount of time is Dallas, which I've heard everybody loves. So I need to give Dallas a fair try, but my favorite is Houston. I love the food. This is my second year performing at the Houston Rodeo Barbecue Festival that they have the weekend before the rodeo. So I'm excited. There's a little Mexican restaurant called El Tiempo, and they have filet fajitas, and I'm ready for those. So that's going to be my first stop. But I would say Houston. I love San Antonio. If I were to picture Texas, San Antonio would be what I picture Texas to look like, I think, with the Riverwalk and the Alamo and all of that. So Texas is my whiskey sponsors from Texas. They're from Wiley. So Texas, I have a good place in my heart for there. So.
Well, I love hearing that. And really, I could spend probably the whole podcast talking about Texas, but that's how us Texans are. We think that Texas is the greatest.
Your state. Yeah.
That's right. But I will say, one of the things I always do talk about in the podcast, and might as well bring it up now, is the food, because I do miss the Mexican food that's over there. And the fact that you said you already got a spot, I'm jealous, because we do not get that kind of food over here in Florida.
Sure. My family lives in West Palm, North Palm, Jupiter area. And, my mom called me tonight. She was on her way to a hot dog restaurant, which is fine. It's cute to have a little hot dog stand, but I'm from Connecticut. So like Italian food, I don't have any of that in Nashville. And the cuisine it's not the same in Florida as it is.
Well, for sure. The next time you come back to Florida and you actually play here, I need to get on that and catch you. That I didn't realize that you had those ties to Florida.
I do. I've performed a lot in Florida. I've done Orlando a couple of times, Boca, where else? Panama City Beach, Florida. I've performed, Miami. Fort Lauderdale. I get out.
Yeah, and it's safe to say, that you made some waves out there. We'll talk a little bit about the national spotlight that you had, and we'll get there. And we'll also talk about your new song in a little while too. But I think something else just kind of popped up, or a question was popped up. Did you just recently get engaged?
I did. So I got engaged in March of last year, but this coming March 11th is our wedding date. So It's happening soon in Florida, and I'm really excited, looking forward to it. So my whole EP, which we're going to dive into, is written about my fiance from when we first started dating, our little dating phase, to now releasing No One's Gonna Love You. It's kind of the end of that EP, and right before the wedding. It's just a full circle moment. So I'm excited.
Yeah, that's great, and I like that because there's a couple of other artists that kind of worked around their wedding theme and stuff like that.
Yeah.
And every time that I see that, I just love that. I love things that it's not just a couple of songs that are put together and they kind of fit, but there's an overall theme and there's a reason behind that.
For sure. I think I gained a lot of my inspiration from the first time that we met, and, experiencing new feelings I've never felt before, and trying new things I've never done, and traveling. And it was a long distance relationship for quite some time. He's from Nebraska originally. So just kind of learning how to communicate and in different ways, and what was going to connect us in different ways, and how sending songs to each other, Bible verses at night, or just well wishes in the morning, just learning a lot about myself as a person, and how I would be long distance to now we live together. And it's just been really fun to write about, and to explore, and to share. So
It's a true love story that you can pen and put to music. I love it. And you mentioned, your latest song, No One's Gonna Love You, like I do. It's just been out, but it's doing really well. Tell us a little bit about that song, and tell me who you collaborated with.
Sure. So that song was written with Emma Klein and Jared Keim, and Jared actually produced the song for me. It features my friend Zach Dyer as a duet, and I wrote it on a day where we were having our long distance moments, and I was just thinking to myself, like, man, nobody's going to love this guy like I do. Like, nobody's going to put up with these random texts here and there, or, just the things that you kind of go through that you don't get to like experience. I don't get to come home to them. We don't get to cook dinner together, So I was like, no one else is going to do this. And then I felt bad, and I was like, man, that sounds really mean. No one's going to love this person. So we kind of changed the song to No One's Going to Love You Like I Do. And so it kind of incorporates, I know you're a catch, and all these really fun things about finding your person, and then realizing, like, you know what, no one's going to love you like I do. And I knew it the moment I met you. And it's just kind of a fun little love bop, if you will.
Yeah, and that is pretty neat that if you don't follow up with the words in parentheses, like you said, that it kind of almost is not a compliment at that
It
point.
could sound bad, yeah.
But that's pretty cool. But let's go ahead and play. We got a special edition acoustic version of it. We're going to go ahead and play No One's Gonna Love You here on Hank's Corner.
Well, people tell me you're a catch. I know it, you deserve the best. There's no going around the obvious. I'm lucky that I get you. I wanna give you everything. Feelings like you've never felt. I'll make sure of it. Give you something you can't find somewhere else. 'Cause no one's gonna love you like I do. From the moment that I met you, baby, I knew I never wanna live a life without you. No one's gonna love you, no one's gonna love you like I do, I do. No one's gonna love you, no one's gonna love you like I do, I do. No one's gonna love you. Don't want nobody else since I first saw you. I can't even help how badly I want you. No need for second guessing. I'll never let you forget that. I wanna give you everything. Feelings unlike you've never felt. I'll make sure of it. Give you something you can't find somewhere else. No one's gonna love you like I do. From the moment that I met you, baby, I knew I never wanna live a life without you. No one's gonna love you, no one's gonna love you like I do, I do. No one's gonna love you, no one's gonna love you like I do, I do. No one's gonna love you like I love loving on you, loving on me all the time. Baby, I love loving on you, loving on me for the rest of our lives. And no one's gonna love you like I do. From the moment that I met you, baby, I knew I'd never wanna live a life without you. No one's gonna love you, no one's gonna love you, no one's gonna love you like I do. From the moment that I met you, baby, I knew I never wanna live a life without you. No one's gonna love you, no one's gonna love you like I do, I do. Oh, no one's gonna love you, no one's gonna love you.
Welcome back to Hank's Corner. I'm Hank Jr. here with my special guest, Taryn Papa. And you heard our most recent song, No One's Gonna Love You. And in parentheses, must say this like I do.
That's right.
But like I said, you're doing really well right now. You've had a lot of fame, and it's just really beginning. But I want you to take me back to those early days in Connecticut, and your grandfather kind of teaching you how to play. Tell me, how did you get into music, and what were your early inspirations?
Sure. So, well before, I guess maybe around the same time as my grandfather, my mom always loved music as well. So my water bottle just popped. My mom always loved music and was always singing in the car. My dad always was singing in the car, whether it was good or not, it was always happening. So I think just growing up, I've always been surrounded by, a love of music. And my dad loved like the Bee Gees and Aretha Franklin, and my mom loved Diana Krall, Celine Dion. We always had a variety of music to listen to. But my grandfather was head surgeon of a hospital for many, many years. And he had a piano in the room that was off the living room. There was like an additional little living room area. And he just played for fun. And I think it was just something that, he did as a stress relief or, just a hobby for him. And I became really interested in it. Just the sounds and how it was forming notes. And I didn't really know how to read music, but if I could hear something, I could play it. And I think he was kind of the same way. So we both played by ear, and he taught me all of his favorites. And, later he did get Alzheimer's when I was in high school, and it kind of reversed the role where I was playing for him. And he used to say to me, like, I think I remember that song, and that song, like he couldn't really form something, but it really made me realize how powerful music is and how amazing sounds are and how it can transport you. I'm not, in my mind, I'm like, where's he going with this? Was this something he heard 20 years ago? Or was this like his first date? Or, you know what I mean? It's just so powerful music. And that's what I really loved about country music, was how true all the lyrics were when I started diving into artists like Martina McBride and Faith Hill, hearing about heartbreak, hearing about children, hearing about, their love. And even though I didn't relate to it, I was like, man, they are so brave, just writing about what they know and have experienced. And I knew that, I wanted to do the same thing. And my uncle, my mom's youngest brother, she's one of 6. So my uncle, we had a band together in Connecticut, and we traveled all over Connecticut. He always used to joke with me about how I booked us like we were Bon Jovi. I was just young and hungry, and he's like, I'm old and tired. And so we had a band called No Excuses, and we just played all over Connecticut. And it got to the point where I felt like I was really outgrowing the network there, and I had bigger plans, and I knew that I needed to reach more people and share more about myself and the stories I wanted to tell. So I moved to Nashville when I was 23.
Okay. And, I want to back up a little bit, because you had mentioned a little bit about the influences and, how country music, you like that it tells a story. And, you mentioned Martina McBride, and yeah, she could tell a story. But what's even interesting about that is that you didn't just go for anybody that can tell a story. Some of the people that you like have the most powerful voices that are out there. What brought you to that? And is that what inspired you? Because you have a powerful voice as well. Is that what inspired you to go that way, hearing those powerhouse voices?
I would say yes. I feel like sometimes music, I have a hard time relating to it because at first it was like, well, I'm not from Mississippi. I, didn't ever own a shotgun. There's a lot of things. I grew up in Connecticut. I went to a private Catholic high school. I wasn't raised by wolves. I'm grateful for all of those experiences, but I had a hard time relating to like an Alison Krauss type voice. And there's a place for that when I am listening to music, but it wasn't something I was like, man, I have more. Not that she doesn't have range, not to make this sound, negative. I just was like, there's something still in me that's like wants to get out like a lion. I want to just like sing from the top of my lungs. And like I said, not saying she can't, but it's just different. And when I started listening to like Kelly Clarkson, Adele, Christina Aguilera, Martina McBride, Faith Hill, I was like, ooh, they sound like what I can do. I can do this and I can sound like that. Like I love Casey Musgraves. But it was different from how I wanted to, like how I could sing, I guess. So yeah, I would say that for sure.
Well, you definitely set the bar high, and I think you're doing that, and that's what attracted me to you was that the powerhouse sound. But tell me, still going back to those early years when you were kind of touring around Connecticut, or even before that, the first time that you go on stage, are you nervous at this point, or were you just like, hey, this is me, I love this?
Woo, yeah, I was never a public speaker. Like even giving presentations in high school, nobody look at me. I want to say the least amount of lines. I was not a participant in any of that. My high school was the first time I ever sang by myself. I sang the national anthem for a basketball game. And I remember two of the guys on the basketball team came up to me. I'm this like nerdy, nobody notices me, and I was supposed to sing it with two other girls. We were supposed to do this like girls choir trio type thing. Well, they didn't show up. It was just me. Okay. So I was like, oh no, well, I have to really, get a brave face here. And these two guys came up to me. Obviously, it was very apparent. I'm very like, my face tells everything before I even say it. They walked over to me visibly nervous and were like, you're going to kill it. You got this. And I was like, oh my God, they just want to see me do well. Like everybody's, I'm 1 minute, 30 seconds. And then they're here for the game. Let's be honest. But it was kind of reassuring. And I started singing with my uncle's band, and I would, go into the spotlight, sing my song, and then like run wherever the light was and not hitting the stage. And it took a while to kind of break out of that. And I just felt that responsibility. I think my mom said something to me too about, we're all here to support you. And no matter how you sound, you're singing for your family and your friends. And we all just want to see you do well. And that just kept being a reminder for me. And once I realized I'm responsible for people having fun, or, now on Broadway, I translate it to, I don't really want to sing Wagon Wheel again for the 100th time tonight, like a night. But it's this guy's, he just retired. Him and his wife are taking their first vacation. You just like channel something different because it's not about me, it's like their experience. And so I try to, be present for them and for those moments. But initially, yeah, I was absolutely terrified. Now I still feel like it's for the greater good.
Mm-hmm. Well, I'm always curious about that because, there are people that have been on the big stage like you that have said that, hey, I knew right from the beginning, this was me. I was out there stealing the show when I was 5 and never even looked back. And then some people are just like, yeah, I had to work up to it. I was very nervous. And you just never know who's going to go which direction because it's just weird like that.
It is. It's different. And you learn things about yourself. I learned how to be, you learn how to succeed amidst adversity. You learn how to you have no time to be nervous. You have to just acclimate. You just have to do it and move on. There's so many moments I walk into things and I'm like, wow, I was not expecting that. Okay. Hey, everybody. you don't even have time anymore. And then after your car ride home, you can like cry and decompress however you want. But sometimes you have to be quick, you know, and
Yeah.
it's been fun learning that.
Well, that's good to hear. And I think this is an appropriate time to go ahead and play Changed, one of your songs here on Hank's Corner.
I didn't know I could miss somebody in the next room. I never thought I'd feel this, and if I did, it wouldn't be this soon. I was scared to love a heart that wasn't mine to find, 'cause one of us was gonna get burned. The only thing I'm thinking about is making you mine. I ain't afraid of getting hurt. I guess I'm changed. I've never felt this way, and I don't think I'll ever be the same. Just the sound of your name has got me craving your touch. Never get enough. I've never been the kind to stay. I guess I'm changed. I'm changed. I'd always roll my eyes at couples kissing in the corner booth. Now I finally see why, 'cause I can't keep my hands off you. Holding me tight in the back of a cab, making out on the street lights. I never knew I wanted to be loved like that. Now I want it for the rest of my life. I guess I'm changed. I've never felt this way, and I don't think I'll ever be the same. Just the sound of your name has got me craving your touch. Never get enough. I've never been the kind to stay. I guess I'm changed. I'm changed. Old me would laugh if she looked at me now, 'cause lately you're the only thing that I've been thinking about. The old me would laugh if she looked at me now, 'cause lately you're the only thing that I've been thinking about. Hey, changed. I've never felt this way, and I don't think I'll ever be the same. Just the sound of your name has got me craving your touch. Never get enough. I've never been the kind to stay. I guess I'm changed. I'm changed. Changed. I'm changed.
Welcome back to Hank's Corner. I'm here with my special guest, Taryn Papa. I'm Hank Jr., part of Hank Jr. Productions, where you know I'm documenting life's moments through photography, videography, and podcasting. And speaking about photography, I always get myself backwards, and I don't know that you can really see it here.
I see a Redneck Riviera poster, maybe a little Nashville moment.
This one right here. I bring her up because she's got a little something in common with you. She was on my 50th episode. It's Audra McLaughlin. And she is another one of those powerhouse voices who was also on The Voice. But I want to hear about your trip on The Voice. Tell me, how did you, first of all, say, hey, this is something I want to try out? How easy was it to get to that big stage? And then we'll go into how it went once you got on.
Sure. So The Voice was something I auditioned for when I lived in Connecticut. I would drive like 3 hours to New Jersey or wherever. I just kind of felt like, you know, when I was talking before about Connecticut being a small state and not really having an opportunity to feel like I wanted growth as an artist. And I kind of knew that this was the direction I wanted to go with my life and my career. So I thought immediately, well, The Voice has a lot of people and, you know, they get a great viewership. I need to maybe get on there and, you know, maybe I'll be as famous as Carrie Underwood overnight. So I auditioned. I got a bunch of callbacks back in the day. A couple of times, I auditioned as pop artist. I remember singing a Bruno Mars song, Grenade, I think it was. And I moved to Nashville, and I think I auditioned maybe one time in Atlanta, Georgia. And I'm trying to think, I got turned down. I drove 4 hours there, mind you. I got turned down, drove 4 hours back. And about 2 years later, I got an email from a casting agency that had said, we're looking for female country artists. Are you interested? You have an appointment time. So you would only get an appointment time if you went to the cattle call, the big main audition, and they said, we'd like you to come back tomorrow at 2:00, noon, whatever. So this meant that I got to skip the whole cattle call, waiting in line for 20 hours at an arena, and I can just go show up for this appointment. So it was awesome. I was like, okay, well, they're reaching out to me. That means, maybe this is the right time for me. So I answered the call. I went, I believe I played 3 songs. And then they told me I made it to LA. And from there, COVID happened. And it got pushed back. And nobody really knew what was going on. March, we're going to have you come out in May now. We're going to have you come out in June now. So our season got shortened significantly. We were maybe 3 episodes shorter than a normal typical season. So our eliminations went from like 30 people to like 22 instead of 30, 28, 25. We got a big chop all the time. I'd call my mom and be like, 12 people went home today. Oh my God. It was pretty wild. But my experience definitely was different due to that. And we just didn't have an audience. I wasn't able to have any family come out. I didn't, have any crowd participation, but it was a good experience and it was different for sure.
Yeah, and it was different for the audience here too. I didn't know how to take it. I guess we were all just trying to kind of live with how COVID was making everything. But it was definitely an interesting season, and I guess good or bad. If you landed on that season, there's pros and cons, and of course we're talking about season 19, but there you are. You're up on stage doing your blind audition. And of course, you're going to pick a song by one of those powerhouse artists anyway.
You can chase a dream that seems so out of reach, and it might not ever come your way. Dream it anyway.
Oh, yeah.
And tell me about those moments when you're singing it.
I feel like in that moment, everything that I had worked so hard for my entire life was hopefully going to come to fruition. We are out in LA isolated for weeks and weeks, getting the original COVID test, the one that like goes down and behind. Yep. Okay. Like the actual hardcore one. And I was like saying to myself, you did not get COVID tested 3 times a week with this thing down the back of your throat for you not to turn a chair. There was a lot of pressure on myself in terms of just being out there, being, in a world we didn't know what was going to happen, and my career. So it was definitely a wild moment for that reason. But I just went out there and I said, I had 90 seconds. This is my 90 seconds. They asked me to be here, and the way they aired it, I don't remember what day they aired me on, but I was the second artist chosen to go out of however many they sent to LA. So which was an honor. They like front loaded all the people. Now I know. Maybe I'm not supposed to talk about this. I'm not sure.
Well, we've kind of figured it out.
Yeah. They have like 3 to 4 days of auditioning in LA. And a lot of people got cut before they even got to get on that stage. Like they would rehearse with the music directors and they're like, there's too many girls that sing like you, or there's too many, guys that are doing soul. So they were picking through for the best of the best for sure. And I knew, I was like, I'm the second artist to go on the first day of auditions. Like I felt good because I was like, okay, they wouldn't have picked me out of this many people if I wasn't, but it still was very nerve-wracking, and I'm grateful for the experience. And I think to your point of not knowing what to make of the season, I don't think we did either. We weren't really sure, but we knew we had one of the highest viewing seasons because everybody was stuck at home. So yeah. It was good. I just I think I could have monopolized more on that afterwards, like maybe debuting at the Opry or, totally being transparent. I would have loved to have had opportunities to do in-person interviews with local television stations that I now co-host and run, at our local station. I'm like, man, I really wish it wasn't COVID. I would have loved one of these chats
Yeah, like I said, there were pros and cons to it, but it was still a great season. And as you're singing, it only takes a short amount of time, and then Blake Shelton turns.
Yeah.
What was your internal reaction when he turned?
Oh, thank God. It was. I was like, oh, thank God somebody turned, to that point of just it's so mental. It's so emotional. You go through so much turmoil. I mean, I cannot stress enough, like how isolated we were for so many weeks and days, and we weren't allowed to communicate with each other. We weren't allowed to be around each other because nobody knew what COVID was. So I was alone in my hotel room for 2 weeks before I got to come out and then get tested. And I just feel like, the oh, thank God was not only I made it on the show. I'm thrilled, that he picked me, but it was like, it wasn't for nothing. So
yeah, definitely. And we forget about that isolation stuff. I mean, I remember seeing it, but when you look back, you kind of forget about it until it's brought up. But not only did he, push his button to, turn around, but he also blocked Kelly Clarkson, I believe.
He did. And it was exciting. I think in my interviews with The Voice, I had always said, it would just be an honor to me if a coach chose to block another coach, because it would really show that I had something that, he thought was valuable and was worthy of keeping and taking a risk on and blocking and, showing that I really want to be with you. And so I was super honored for that. And I loved that Gwen Stefani turned. I had 3 chairs and a block.
3-chair turn. Yep.
You just couldn't ask for a better experience. And my mom is jumping up and down in the video, and she was so happy, and we were all so happy. So it was awesome.
Yeah. And tell the audience who you picked and why.
Oh, yes. So I chose Blake Shelton. We have a very similar career path. I believe it took him 10 years before he had a song get on country radio. I've been in Nashville for 10 years. I just felt like, he was an artist who knew the struggle of putting all the work in for years and years in Nashville. He knew the city. He knew how it worked. And he was definitely the country guy. So that's kind of why I chose him.
Yeah. And so for those who have not seen the season, I'm not sure what streaming platform that you can get it on, but I do encourage you to go back and watch season 19, watch Taryn Papa on there. It was definitely great. I don't want to give away any more for those who have not seen it, but you did awesome out there. And I'm going to go ahead and play one more song, Persuaded, and we'll come back and talk some more.
Great.
I don't go out and get drunk. that just ain't what I do. I don't usually hang out with guys like you, but you bumped into me in the middle of me going through a little bad girl phase. Worst thing in the world you could do is keep on looking at me that way. Letting someone I don't know take me home ain't how I get down. But I could be persuaded. What the hell am I doing? It's something I ain't said to myself in a long time from someone else's bed. But you bumped into me in the middle of me going through a little bad girl phase. Last thing in the world I need is to wind up waking up at your place. I know a bad idea when I see one, and this could be one. But I could be persuaded.
Welcome back to Hank's Corner. I'm Hank Jr. once again here with my special guest, Taryn Papa. This is episode 95. Like I said, getting all that much closer to my special 100th episode. And every artist I have on, I really do say it's special, but you are special. Your voice is great. I love watching that season. And as a matter of fact, and I told everybody to go back and watch season 19, but I think I need to go find it and watch it again. So we'll do that. But for this last little part, I want to talk a little bit about maybe some of the non-musical stuff. Now, I know that you're busy with music and all that, but when you're not doing music, what are you doing and what are you doing for fun?
Sheesh. That's a good question. I honestly don't. I'm not doing music. Like when I'm not performing, I'm still doing stuff for music. I love tennis. I played tennis in college. There is a tennis court like 30 minutes from my house. And if I have a couple days off, I'll go rent a court for $40 and a ball machine and just kind of whack a few balls around. But I love to play golf as well. I love tennis. What else do I love to do? But I think those are my hobbies. I love documentaries. I love history. I majored in history in college. So I love to watch World War II stuff. And I'm a big, I love TV shows like Blacklist and any cop NCIS type thing. I love all that too. So that's kind of free time stuff.
Yeah, well, you'll definitely get along with my wife. She likes the documentaries too and the history. She, from the Civil
Yeah.
War to World War II, that's usually what she does. And then, we do watch a lot of crime dramas
Yeah,
at
I love
nighttime
House of
as well together.
Cards and all that. I'm definitely not a murder mystery girl. Like, please, I will not. I don't want to know how to kill my fiance in 20 ways. Like, I don't want to listen to that kind of stuff because I'm home alone a lot or in hotels alone a lot. So don't want to know about that. But yeah, I like
I
all
can
those.
I can see how that can be creepy. And you are in hotels a lot all over the place. Tell me, where are some of the favorite places that you've been to either just visit or play at, and what's still on your bucket list?
Ooh, I would love to play Red Rocks. I think that would be so awesome. I've never really spent time out west. Um, so I would love to do that. I mean, we were in California for The Voice, but we weren't allowed to leave our hotel room, so I probably would like to go visit that. Red Rocks would definitely be a bucket list for me. I also want to see like some national parks just as like just for fun. I feel like it would be really cool to kind of explore that stuff. And I'm not really an outdoorsy girl, so that's pretty big for me to say. I would also love to play New York. I would love like a billboard in Times Square. I would love to, play some of those like Carnegie Hall and just places that are just iconic. I would love to sing The Prayer with Andrea Bocelli. I have a lot of bucket list stuff.
Mhm.
But some of my favorite places I've performed and stayed, I would say Las Vegas. The Mirage Hotel was something I performed at a couple years in a row for the NFR, the rodeo. I loved it there. Just recently, I started performing at the Westin Hotel in Nashville. I did a residency this past month. And that's been really fun. It's a really different vibe for me, super intimate. And I get to break down my songs and kind of talk like we're talking now. As a storyteller, I think it's so fun to have that different element to my show. So I would say the Westin, and I do love Broadway. I've been down there for 10 years and I love it. I play at Dierks Bentley's Whiskey Row, and there's something about that full band, that's just really fun. But there's a lot of places I want to see and do. Right now, I'm still renting a 18-passenger van, playing bars where people are spilling Fireball all over them. But hopefully we get to an arena or we get to a real listening room. So I'm looking forward to expanding.
Yeah, that's definitely coming. And talking about the shows, I kind of want to know, should somebody come to a Taryn Papa show, what should they expect?
Absolutely, they should come. I would love to see you at a Taryn Papa show. I have so much fun. I do a blend of my original music and cover songs that I think, really represent me. I do some songs that I've done on The Voice. And just songs, that I either wish I wrote. And I just have so much fun with my bandmates. I have a really good group of people around me that are extremely talented, that are on tour with other national acts. And so when they're in town, I get to scoop them up, and it's just a really great show. And like I said, if I ever have anything listed on my website where it's acoustic, it's going to be super intimate and really fun. And songs that I've loved for a lifetime that I get to do that I can't really do at a full band show. So every show I would say is definitely different. And I would hope you guys would love to come. So
Yeah, definitely check out her website. It's TarynPapa.com, I believe. Just the name.com, nice and easy to find out what shows she's going to be playing. And as I mentioned, by the time this comes out that recorded, you probably be, finishing up your little Texas stint. But what's rest for you for the rest of the year?
Oh man, let's see. I have a couple of exciting things now that I'm just March is very busy. I'm getting married in March. I am going back to Connecticut. I'm excited to do that. My high school invited me to come back and speak with the student body and talk about my career and how, they were a foundation in me, catapulting my career. And I'm excited to talk to the students. And I know who I was when I was sitting in those seats. So it's going to be fun to return. Looking forward to that. So that's in Connecticut. They've got tickets and all that stuff will be on my website. This September, I haven't announced it yet. So maybe by the time this comes out, it'll be announced. But September, I was invited to perform at the Nashville Nights Songwriters Festival in Denmark. So I'm really excited to be a part of their lineup, and I will be helping co-host and interview songwriters, just kind of like we're doing now, and, going behind the song a little bit. And that's also open. If anybody wants to take a trip to Denmark, they've got all the VIP tickets. It's all inclusive. So that'll be the Nashville Nights Songwriters Festival. And we're going to expand that. My fiance and he plays guitar a little bit. He dabbles. So he'll be accompanying me, and we're going to turn it into like a little honeymoon, but I'm excited for that as well.
Yeah, it sounds like you got a lot of great things coming this
do.
year, and that's awesome. Congratulations on everything that's happening. Your wedding, your songs. I mean, there's just so much, and I'm definitely appreciative that you took the little time to come to my little corner here and talk with Hank Jr. And of course, anytime you ever want to be a guest on Hank's Corner, you're more than welcome to.
Thank you. I appreciate it. It was so great to be here and chat with you, and I'm excited to hear your 100th podcast.
It's coming soon, so we got a special guest for that one.
Great.
Been so many places, seen so many faces, not sure what makes this feel so brand new. Got my body shaking, can't stop my mind racing from those eyes you gave me across the room. I didn't mean to feel this much this fast. Now there ain't no turning back. I can't catch my heart if I tried. I felt it flew out of my head. Too far gone kind of life that I can't get it back, baby. Shoot it to the moon if you wanna put it on a one-way flight. I ain't gonna miss it, gonna kiss it goodbye. I can't catch my heart if I tried. It's the way it touches, it's the way your love is. Can't get enough, it's out of control.